tell you about a book that I recently read for Nonfiction November, and this is The Dark Fantastic: Race and the Imagination from Harry Potter to the Hunger Games, written by Dr. Ebony Elizabeth Thomas. I buddy read this book with the wonderful Adriana from Perpetual Pages. This is not going to be a full review because, low-key, I am still processing the majesty that this book was. This book, so it's nonfiction. It is a commentary on the dark other, and in particular looking at the experiences of Black female characters in stories of the fantastic, using Benny Bonnet in the Vampire Diaries, Rue in the Hunger Games, the Black Hermione in the Wizarding World of J.K. Rowling's, Gwyn in Merlin, and is there another one? I feel like there's another one. Rue in the Hunger Games, I probably said that. But using all of these Black female characters as examples of what Dr. Thomas has called the cycle of the dark fantastic. And the cycle of the dark fantastic has 5 stages. First, we've got spectacle, and I'm still learning this, but spectacle where the Black character shows up as something other than or sort of otherworldly, not really supposed to be there, lurking in the background. The second part of the cycle is hesitation, and that's when the Black character or the dark other causes some doubt or some interruption or interjection into what would otherwise be like a normal white magical landscape. And then we've got violence, which is the way that the dark other is usually dealt with. So they're either killed off or they're disappeared, or they are in some way sort of like punished. So the resolution comes through them being taken out of the plot in some way. And then we've got haunting. So this is where after that dark character is taken out, they're still present in some way in the plot. They actually loom over it. So they don't actually leave because they actually exist to be an opposition to whiteness in the plot. And then the 5th stage is this emancipation, and that's where the dark other can actually escape this cycle. And so without getting into a lot of detail, because this is the 3rd time low-key that I have recorded this, and I tend to like get really wordy, but Rue as, you know, this sacrificial lamb, a sacrificial mockingjay in the Hunger Games is an example of that. Bonnie Bennett, who's the witch, who's just never really integrated into the story, never gets the joy and the fun and the excitement of being a gorgeous Black girl living in Mystic Falls. The Black Hermione, so Hermione was never explicitly set out and named as a Black character, as a white character in Harry Potter. And when the fan world started to look at Hermione and say, well, actually, Rowling's never said that she was Black, everybody just sort of clutched their pearls and were like, oh my gosh, Hermione can't be Black because we're racists. But that was like a big deal. And I'm not as familiar with or connected to the world of Merlin, but I know that there's a lot of uproar when Gwyn, who was a servant in the movie, ended up being Queen Guinevere, and what that meant, and how towards the end of the series, people started focusing on this gay romance between Arthur and Merlin instead of looking at what it meant for there to be an interracial couple in Arthurian times. There was just so much here. I felt really validated reading this book because it helped me reconcile a lot of my own experiences, even like, because Dr. Thomas and I are similar in age. So when I was growing up, the main fantasy stories that I watched were The Never-Ending Story, which is still my favorite movie. And I actually watched all 3 Never-Ending Stories while I was reading the first chapter of this. It got me thinking about that. It got me thinking about Labyrinth. It got me thinking about, I didn't really watch The Dark Crystal, but there were a lot of fantasy stories, and we always had a young white boy or a young white girl being the savior, being the chosen one, being the one with the key, being the one who was the only one who could save the world, right? And so it really helped me kind of I guess, understand and have language to work through what it was like as a kid to watch those movies and to notice my own absence and what that meant for me growing up, and how I'm so excited that now students who are reading these books in schools and kids who are watching them on television can start to see themselves portrayed in fantastic worlds. They can place themselves in the imagination. And Dr. Thomas talks about the actual real life impact that young Black, in particular, students are able to experience when they see themselves literally in fantastical worlds doing great things, right? Great things. So I am probably going to talk about this book a lot. I'm not going to do a 7-calorie shell review because I don't know how that would work for nonfiction. But let me just tell you that I always say this, I absolutely love this book. This book was a pleasure to listen to and to read. I listened to it on Audible, and I also read it and highlighted it while I was doing so, in part because I did not want to ruin this stunning cover. And the cover art, which I want to, going forward, I want to talk more about cover arts in my videos, because I think that sometimes we don't spend enough time really talking about the cover, because this, like, literally, I bought this. I saw this book and zoomed in on it because I loved the cover. So the cover art, the image, what is it? This artist is actually a famous artist. And the artist's name escapes me. I thought that it would be on the inside here, but it is not. But this artist, cover art, yes, Paul Lewin. And this image is called The Tree Spirits. And this cover, this artist did all of the covers for the Parable of the Sower and the Parable of the Talents, the new covers. And I would like to get hardbacks of them, or hardcovers. I'm talking like you Americans, hardcovers of them. This book was also blurbed by Jacqueline Woodson, Tananarive Due, and Dr. Thomas really did an excellent job researching this book. And so as you read, you also get a lot of recommendations of authors that you can read. So Nisi Shaw and Nalo Hopkinson and N.K. Jemisin and Nnedi Okorafor and Zetta Elliott and Tananarive Due and Cherie Renee Thomas and a number of people are blurbed in here, people that I've read, people that you should be reading. And so it's also a great resource. And I would say that this is a really good companion text to fiction. So if you haven't, like, if you're going to do a reread of Twilight, I don't know why you would, because, like, you could do other things like peel skin off your face. But if you did do that, you could read, this as a companion. No, that was salty. Oh my God, where did that come from? Twilight, okay, just don't. But if you're rereading Harry Potter, if you want to rewatch the Vampire Diaries or something like that, read this book and then use it as a lens to explore your fiction. It will help you to read deeper and more powerfully. So anyway, let me go before I throw more salt into this. I loved this. I'm looking forward to having more of a chat with Adriana about it, because I know that they will pick up other things that will really help me appreciate this. So that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. If you like it, give me a thumbs up, because that matters to me. If you are new here, or you've been here, if you're new here and you like what you see, please do subscribe. And if you have been part of the Onyx Pages family for a really long time, it's been like 2 years, in our relationship. So thank you very much for continuing to watch. I will see you in the comments. Bye.